you can create an estate plan without your spouse. Now, that is not the ideal situation. When the two spouses work together to create an estate plan, it is going to be a pretty good, robust estate plan. But sometimes people won't agree, and one spouse says, no, I'm not going to do anything. And the other spouse says, well, I'm going to create my own estate plan. And in Washington State in particular, you can do that. Even though in Washington State, maybe everything that you and your spouse own is community property. What would an estate plan look like then if you are, one person and in a married couple and your spouse isn't taking any action, but you want to protect yourself? So what you'll do is you'll meet with an estate planning and elder law attorney. They will create for you your living documents, which are your durable powers of attorney for health, for finances, and your healthcare directive. And they will create for you a will, most likely a will and not a revocable living trust. And the will say where you want your assets to go. So a lot of people think that in a community property state, by default, your spouse ends up with all the community property. That is not so. If you want let's say you and your spouse own a house and you have other assets, and let's say you have $1 million estate and you have, your 2 children, and your spouse is not cooperating with creating your estate plan. Let's say you want your half of the house to go to your kids. You can do that. Through your will, you say, I want all community property that is mine, which is half of the community property. I want it to all pay to my kids. You can do that. And if you have what's called separate property, you can do the same thing. So there's nothing that says that you must provide for your spouse with the community property you own. Commonly, most people do so because they recognize the problem. If they give their house to the kids, their half of the house, then what's the other spouse going to do? They only own half the house. You can see all the problems that could arise. So it's really, really important. If your spouse is not working with you to create an estate plan, go to an estate planning and elder law attorney who can walk you through what your goals are, how to achieve them, and without creating a big mess for the people you leave behind.